score is 0-0, just underway here. Desi, the hardest hitter in the sport right now, Dave. He's been clocked at over 95 miles per hour on back wall shots. Owen Kennedy, known as probably the steadiest player in the game, Dave. Just flat killing that ball off the back wall.
The score now is 2-0. It's Desi and Owen playing Vince Munoz and Marco Chavez.
Desi likes to change the speed of the ball a lot, Dave. He's got the most powerful shot in the game. He also has really soft hands. Marcos has the best offense of any player on the court, maybe the best offense of any player in the sport. We saw Marcos on fire yesterday, Dave, in that first game in the semifinals against the other Irish team of Robbie McCarthy and Michael Gregan. Then it was his partner Vince Munoz turning back the clock in the tiebreaker, completely dominating with an amazing 6-point run in that tiebreaker to stretch the lead from 3-2 to 9-2. You heard Desi, Dave, in that interview during the women's final. He said his game plan with Owen is just to be really steady, don't make any mistakes. It's been effective thus far, Dave. It's been an easy road for Desi and Owen to the finals. They beat Californians Chip Morales and Armando Ortiz very badly in the quarterfinals, and then defeated their elder statesman countrymen, Tom Sheridan and Duxie Walsh, easily last night.
Score is 2-1. This is the men's doubles finals here at the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball.
Nice fly kill there from Marcos. Not sure Desi's ever been on the court with Marcos before, Dave. He plays a very unique style. He goes for shots that you wouldn't expect. They also play that front and back double style, which is certainly an adjustment. Not a good serve there from Vince. That's about the worst place you could put that serve, to Desi's right hand off the back wall. That's the most powerful shot in handball right now.
Nice shot right there from Marcos. Another sharp shot from Marco Chavez, who was basically the MVP in last year's win, who really carried his team, not last year, but the last tournament's win. And he is the deciding factor. But we saw yesterday in that tiebreaker, Vince Munoz lighten it up, Dave.
Well, it was interesting. Sgusoh Keegan also watching that match, doing a little bit of scouting. He said Vince Munoz just really turned it up there in the tiebreaker, and that's exactly what we saw as well, Dave. It was Vince just taking over.
It's almost like we never even saw Vince during any of the other aspects of the match, and then he got 5 rollouts in a tiebreaker. And when you have that sort of thing going on for you as a doubles team, you're going to probably win. Especially 5 rollouts in a tiebreaker. 3-2. Score here. Marco Chavez wearing the Army fatigue shirt. That's that familiar look from Marcos.
That's a great kill there from Marcos. Facing the front wall and directs that ball into the right corner. We have the court mic, Dave. You can see here just how powerful those back wall shots are from Desi. I'm surprised that Marcos is going after Desi's right hand here. That's a good shot if you can force Desi to take that ball over his shoulder. Generally, Desi will take that ball off the back wall. Owen manages to flip that ball 3-wall. Not an easy shot. Vince tries to go to the ceiling there, saying that he's screened there. It looked like it could have been a screen, Dave.
2-4.
Good Z serve there from Desi. Owen drives that ball front wall, left side wall, and the ball cracks out just out of Marcos Chavez's reach.
3-4.
Some of the best footwork, Dave, in doubles is actually getting out of the way of the ball.
Yeah, that is true. You know, it has become kind of a cliche or a kind of a funny statement, and we say it a lot when we're playing with other players. You say, hey, I got out of his way. But really, honestly, that is part of the game. You pick your moments.
Point.
Some other doubles players that are really good would say things like, well, I play the right side. The ball has to pass through me first, so therefore I'm in charge. And that's how they look at it. And there's nothing wrong with that because you have to take that approach. Even though deep down we know the left side usually is sort of the anchor, kind of like you see Owen Kennedy playing that left side with Team Kennedy Keegan. But Desi Keegan is the younger of the two, has more power.
Interesting, Dave. Leanne Martin inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. She said her coach, Pete Tyson, taught her how to play right side doubles. He said, always be ready to hit, but never actually hit the ball.
Huh, interesting. I think I agree with that in some sense. But then you watch Marcos Chavez and Vince Munoz play, and they do that I formation where it's really two guys playing a game of singles out there with one in front of the other. There is no right or left. It's front and back. And when I brought this up to Marcos, he said, oh, that's old guys doubles. Left and right is old guys. Who's the right left side on your guys' team? He said, no, that's how old guys play doubles. They play front and back and left and right. For us in the booth, we say, oh, Marcos is on the left. But see, right now, he's in front and he's playing the left. Vince is the right side player playing the back right now.
It takes a lot of years playing together, Dave, to be able to successfully pull off the front and back. You know, it's not that hard to
nobody's covering that right
gel
corner.
As a team, Dave, when you're playing left and right, particularly if you have a guy that's used to playing the left and another guy that used to playing the right. But to play front and back, you almost have to have that understanding at all times of what your partner likes to do. Very similar to, say, a Joe Montana and a Jerry Rice, quarterback and receiver that really understand where each other is going to be and what they're thinking at all times.
Well, in my experience of doing these live webcasts, watching a lot of doubles, Vince and Marcos have just really the only kind of philosophy out there when it comes to that I formation. A lot of other players, and we've seen this in doubles tournaments before, where they go to the I formation at the very end of a match when one player feels like they've lost all confidence and they're being picked on, so they go to the I formation. Vince and Marcos do it right out of the gate. Just track Vince and Marcos and you'll see what I'm talking
Actually,
about.
I am. I have my notebook here, Dave, and I've tracked every shot. Owen Kennedy's already made 2 errors.
8-4.
That's one more than he made in last night's match.
Score is 8-4.
Gene Kastner on the court now with the radar gun, Dave, and we will give you those readings.
Ball back to Owen. He takes it around the corner.
Nice reverse on that ball from Marcos with his left hand. Owen is just so fit and so steady, Dave. Always hits the right shot, and there's Marcos. Paddles that ball into the left corner. Beautiful kill there.
You're watching the men's doubles finals. Owen Kennedy serving right here. Kennedy and Desi Keegan versus Vince Munoz and Marcos Chavez.
You know, Dave, I don't think it's a coincidence that these two teams are probably the best friends of any of the two teams that played together in this event. I think that makes a big difference, particularly if the good friends are able to communicate well. And you see sometimes, Dave, friends going in there and actually becoming adversaries. These guys have great open lines of communication. You'll see that between points. Constantly discussing strategy, picking each other up. It's one of the reasons you and I can't play doubles together, Dave.
It's because, well, we would probably do good if we had our headsets on. which might look a little awkward. Just plug and go.
Short.
Now, Vince could appeal this and say it was short because it hit that hole in the wall, right?
Point.
Now, you played recently against Sgusoh Keegan, is that correct? It was at the Fireball Classic. You beat him in 2 straight games. One of the underestimated portions of Sgusoh's game is his soft hands in the front court.
That's true. He's got amazing touch with his left, especially, Dave, in the front court. I don't think that shot works all that well in doubles, though, because you've got a guy on your left at all times. But Sgusoh's got a good serve down the right, and he'll take the return with its soft paddle left and kill it back down the left wall.
We're at the Los Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California. It is the men's doubles finals between Vince Munoz and Marco Chavez, and Owen Kennedy and Sgusoh Keegan. Owen and Sgusoh out to an 8-6 lead.
Love this camera angle here, Dave. You know, I'd love to see Sgusoh just blast the ball right at the feet. Just hit that ball about a foot high, right at the feet of Marcos and Vince. There's a great pickup there from Sgusoh. You know, Sgusoh's a big guy, Dave, but he looks a lot fitter now than he did when we saw him in the United States in the last year. Didn't look very fit at the World Championships last year. That was just about a year ago. Also didn't look nearly as fit at the Tucson Fireball Classic. Looks like he's put a lot of training in. We know he's been playing the 30x60, Dave, which you've seen over there in Croke Park, your various trips to Ireland.
Well, he takes it very seriously, and as they all do. That's why he's in shape right now.
Side out.
There's a great Irish whip kill.
8-6.
Here's a setup for Owen. Sgusoh hits that mystery ball there. Dave, the mystery ball is the ball that hits the front wall, side wall, side wall.
That ball also hit the front wall hole.
Let's
Marcos.
listen here.
You can feel that. I called it good. I saw no bad bounce. One disagrees, one agrees.
Let's see a replay of this, Dave. I actually thought the bounce was a little bit funky, but I don't think either Marcos or Vince had a shot at that ball. That ball was angling away from Marcos. Let's watch this here, Dave. Owen will take this shot here, hit right in the middle.
Yes.
And you see the court position of these guys, because they don't play left and right, they play front and back. They were just out of position to play that shot.
Here's something I don't understand, Dave, is that these players have played pro ball for such a long time, and we've seen a lot of arguments out here, but James Comstoff is almost educating these guys, saying, listen, you can just appeal that call. You don't have to argue with me. Just say you want to appeal it. We'll go to the line judges, and they say whether it was good or bad, and then it's over with. You don't have to engage in any type of conversation with me. I thought it was good. Now appeal it. And yet the players want to continue to keep arguing with the referee. And you hear James over and over, are you appealing?
That's a good point.
9-6.
We don't, a lot of people talk about these arguments with the referee, trying to take the ref out of it. Well, the ref isn't really supposed to be in it. If you don't like a play, you appeal. That's why you see some rules where they say you don't talk to the referee about short calls, you talk to the line judges, like in certain outdoor forms of handball.
7-9.
7 serves 9. What happens is a lot of these players get frustrated and they try to take out what just happened on the court on the ref. This is the men's finals of the doubles here.
Slight advantage here for the Irish. Neither team, Dave, dominating at this point. It's been close.
Oh, nice dig right there from Sgusoh Keegan. Another nice get from Sgusoh.
Smart shot there from Marcos. He saw Sgusoh off balance there. He slid into that side wall, struggled to get up, and Marcos went right back at him there. And watch this here. You see Desi off balance here. Marcos recognizing that and goes right back to him. Actually, Desi probably should have left that ball for Owen. Owen coming in there with his right hand. That's the most frustrating thing there, Dave, for a left side player is when you're coming in with a right hand opportunity, the ball sits up off that right side wall and your right side partner just flails at that ball with their left.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot, but you know, Desi has such good hands in the front court, and he just barely missed rolling that ball out in the front corner.
Well, I think even if that ball made it, would have set up for a pretty big setup.
There's a lot of contact
Beautiful.
there. Referee let him play through it.
Beautiful adjustment there from Desi. I'll tell you, Dave, Desi and Owen are the two type of guys that you'd really want to go to war with.
Watch the contact here. Desi has to go right there, gets around, barely gets that ball in the front corner.
And there's those soft hands. There's a back wall kill there to earn the side out. Desi will break at least 2 balls a match, Dave. That's what happens when you hit the ball over 90 miles per hour.
You're watching the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball Pro Doubles Finals between Marco Chavez and Vincent Munoz. They've won 3 previous titles at the 3 previous tournaments, going for their 4th. And Desi Keegan and Owen Kennedy. Fred Lewis is courtside, and we'll be chatting with him at our next available timeout. This was almost that available timeout. I'm going to say hello to Raul Felix back in Tucson, Arizona, watching the live webcast. I didn't even know Raul knew what a computer was. 9 serves 8, first game.
Is this the shout out portion of the match?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we get text messages all during the broadcast here. MSMs, sorry. Instant messages over the computer and
Okay.
emails while we're.
I see you've also been logged into Facebook all weekend, so you're doing some online chatting there as well.
And Twitter.
Okay.
So if you want to say hello, go ahead and text us and we'll.
Well, just out of curiosity, what is your Twitter account name?
Dave C. Vincent.
10-8.
Just like everything, I make it simple. 10 serves 8 here. I have a couple followers.
Okay. Beautiful shot there from Marcos. Took his time there. Really stayed low. Kept his elbow parallel to the floor. Textbook kill there.
8-10.
It's a great angle. Vince Munoz serve. Vince is ageless looking, Dave. He looks the same now as he did 20 years ago.
Now, back in those days on the Pro Tour, you started at a young age. You're now, what, 33? Vince Munoz was hot. He was on fire back then. And what was it like playing on the Pro Tour with the Vince Munoz, Dave?
Well, Vince is such a great sportsman, incredible gentleman, and just an awesome player. Had the opportunity to play him only one time. That was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I lost.
Oh, okay. Trying to keep this production positive.
It was positive until you asked me for the result.
As a competitor playing against him, how difficult was it to compete with a guy that really isn't going to talk on the court, argue with the refs, say anything? Nice shot right there from Marco Chavez. I mean, is it difficult to play a guy that is steady and just quiet and just goes out there and performs? Does that get into your head a little bit? You remember that Chattanooga match?
Well, I think it's relaxing. It's actually puts you at ease to see someone that calm and that under control in the court.
We're all tied at 10. There's a view of the gallery. Some of those that are watching the action here at the show court.
Court seems to be in much better condition, Dave, than it was yesterday. We've had a little bit of a change in the weather. It's once again sunny California.
that ball slid. Desi isn't appealing it.
12-10.
Very
Desi's gloves
surprised.
do look wet.
Good.
I'm surprised Marcos.
If we can get a replay of that shot that happened previously, which we will, you'll see that that ball slid. Desi looked up really.
Let's make sure we see this in fast motion here.
Actually, no, you'll see it in slow. There it is.
It did slide.
And you look right there, the view up to the box. Desi could have just appealed that. We saw it here.
Side out.
Marcos set that up perfectly. He hit that tomahawk fist right at Desi's feet, forced him to hit up on the ball, got the fly kill opportunity.
And they're
This
going to
timeout sponsored by the RFC, the premier pro handball event on the East Coast, May 13th to the 15th, 2011, Dave. We'll head to Fred Lewis right now, who's in the front row.
Fred, let's go to you. What's happening in the gallery?
Well, this is a great match. The key to this match is going to be who plays better, Marcos or Ian. So far, Marcos has been spectacular at times. He's also, you know, missed a couple of easy shots, easy kill shots in the front court. If he can become a little bit more consistent, I see them taking control of the game. Ian's been steady, but you know, he's had opportunities and he hasn't been able to put the ball away, whereas Marcos has. So we'll see how things develop here. It's going to be a grind him out match. Marcos definitely is going to start picking on Desi as much as possible in the front court, driving balls at him, as you saw in that last rally, and then waiting for the easy soft shot to make the kill shot attempt.
All right, Fred, thank you very much. Fred Lewis, the 6-time national champion courtside here at the Los Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California for this 2-minute glove change and I guess we would call a TV timeout with workers here at the Village wiping down the courts.
RFC for sponsoring this event, Dave. The RFC has attracted the top players in the United States in the last 2 years. There's actually a lot of interest from Irish players this year as well. We may see a Sgusoh Keegan and Owen Kennedy this year in the Steel City in Pittsburgh, May 13th to the 15th. We see Vince staying loose here during this timeout. Marcos looks so casual in there, Dave. It's really works to his benefit because that's how he plays. He plays fast and loose. Just received a text message from Pittsburgh. Marcos Chavez is my idol.
And that's what you...
That's all it says.
I have a little game I like to play on the text message on the phone where you go over and you just read out loud the last 20 texts that you sent to people. It's called Sent is the name of the game.
Sent.
Sent. And it's quite comical.
There actually is an award, Dave, for the person that watched the most matches on the webcast for each event. That person will receive $1 off on a WPH jersey.
Okay.
Should they choose to purchase one, there will be a written test to prove that you've listened to everything that was said.
First man serving. 10-12.
Score is 10 serves 12. Sgusoh Keegan and Owen Kennedy first game versus Marco Chavez and Vince Munoz after that 2-minute glove change make that 11-12.
Perfect shot there from Sgusoh. I see Sgusoh trying to massage the ball a little bit more than I think he should, particularly in doubles, Dave. He's got that cannon for a right, and yet you see him sort of half speeding a lot of these shots. Won that last point with a hard drive to the left.
Half out. $11-12.
Strange return there from Marcos. I thought he could have shot that ball, Dave. And now it'll be Marcos taking the shot, earning the side out there. A great left-handed kill. Let's watch this sort of a strange return. Put the ball down the left wall. Now he gets this opportunity. That ball checks up on the sidewall, and he puts a beautiful reverse on that ball with his left hand and runs it away from Owen. That's not an easy thing to do, Dave, to run the ball out of the reach of the monument.
13-11.
Score now 13-11. Not 13-12.
Okay.
As we may have announced erroneously. Oh, look at that shot right there. Inside out from Marco Chavez down the right side.
I don't like the 3-wall floating wraparound shot in doubles, Dave, particularly when you have a fly kill specialist like Marcos Chavez. He's waiting to take that ball out of the air, and he'll take it again. That time makes the air. That 3-wall shot was pinched just a little bit differently, Dave. It didn't hang on the walls. That ball was coming down sharply at an angle.
Replay.
I was talking to Marcos about that I formation that I was over exemplifying earlier, or over defining. And he said that even though he's in the front, he actually considers that the right side. You know, I do play the front. I'm on the left, but he calls it I'm a right side specialist. I go, but you're not playing the right side. You're on the left. Well, up front.
Replay.
It's kind of confusing, I guess. Wouldn't you just call that front back?
15-11.
He calls himself the right side specialist even though he lines up on the left.
Desi with a couple errors here on this return of serve. Nice shot there from Marcos. That actually was not a slide, Dave. That ball will actually take off straight. When you stand up against that left side wall and hit the left corner first with your right hand, as you know, Dave, that ball has a different spin on it than it would if you hit it from the middle of the court, and it'll actually take off straight.
Would you just call that a pinch shot?
Well, you know, Dave, you hit a lot of those sort of crazy 3-wall and corner shots, and you know how that ball reacts when you're standing on the left wall, hit the left corner with your right hand, just shoots out straight rather than coming to the middle of the court. See Sean Lanning use that shot in 3-wall. He hits the left side wall high, runs the ball out of the court.
Look at that get right there from Marcos.
Not sure that call was necessary. You know, Dave, that's one of those situations where Vince is already moving the ball. He was a little bit shaped, but there's nothing more he's going to do with this shot. And we'll take a look at it here. So Vince is already moving here. And what more is he going to do with that shot, Dave? He's diving on the ground. It didn't change the shot whatsoever. That's my issue with that call there, Dave.
Yeah, but if he would have dove for that ball and mishit it because he was unable to see around Desi, what do you call then, Dave? You're going to let him take that shot? You're going to have to call the screen eventually. You're going to let him take it? He's not wanting that shot as a kill shot.
You're
12-16.
You're harming the offensive player who's put the defensive retriever in a bad spot.
Look at that shot again from Marcos, inside out, right in front of Sgusoh Keegan. Beautiful shot right there from Marco Chavez.
12-16.
From Bueno Park, California.
Side out. 16-12.
Score is 16-12. Vince Munoz serving.
Replay that.
Chuck Nicolette from Midland, Texas is checking in to the live webcast. Nice dig right there from Marco Chavez. Now 17-12, right in front of Owen Kennedy, who cannot get it back.
17-12.
There's Sal Duenas right there in the front row as we scan through the crowd.
Nice drive there from Marcos with the left hand. Owen looks a little bit frustrated there.
18-12.
Score is 18-12.
You know, Dave, the score was close early in this first game. Neither team able to separate themselves by more than 1 or 2 points. Now it's Marcos Chavez
18-12.
and Vince with a commanding 18-12 lead.
Well, you have to remember we're tied at 12. Now
That's
it's
a
19
beautiful
to 12.
left corner kill there from Marcos.
7 straight points in this inning from Vince and Marcos.
19-12.
It's almost as though Marcos wants Desi to hit that big bomb off the back wall with his right hand, because then it comes back off the back wall for Marcos.
19-12.
Marcos knowing that Desi overhits this ball a little bit.
Wow. Did not overhit that one.
I expect to see more of that from Desi. That's a great shot that he executes the vast majority of the time. That looked like it could have been a hinder.
Replay that.
Certainly it's a very arbitrary call, Dave, when that ball hits the
Excuse me, stop, hold it.
the window there on the front wall.
12. Let me call the score.
Desi looking at his wristwatch, saying, well, if you're going to call the score, why don't you just call it?
12-19.
That's one of those awkward things in handball, Dave. After a hinder, you don't know whether the ref's going to just say hinder and you serve, or if they're going to say one serve or the score.
Yeah, you're right.
You're sort of in limbo. You don't know, do I serve now? Do I wait?
That's because
that
you don't know the
seconds
cadence.
wait.
Yeah, you don't know that cadence of the referee, whether or not they're going to say second serve or just let you serve it.
12-19.
It's one of the things where the referee needs to just step in before the game starts and says, this is how I call second serves. This is what I do after, you know.
I completely agree. A lot of referees wait 2 or 3 seconds to call second serve. You're clearly ready to serve, and then you're frozen there, just staying there. Notwithstanding that brilliant conversation, Dave, it's Vince Munoz earning the side out there with a beautiful back wall flat rollout. Like that double serve there from Vince. A little congestion there, and there's the Monument ending that rally.
I thought the Monument was going to get a free point there. Side out, half out on an avoidable.
Amazing get. Great handball. It's one of the best points we've seen all match, Dave. We'll take a look at this point on the replay.
That's Owen Kennedy dumping 2 balls in a row, one with his left hand slam, second one with his right off the front wall, 1 inch high.
Replay.
That's frustrating. Here's that replay.
Here's that last point. Only 4 shots here, Dave, but all of them great shots. Desi blasts that ball. Looks like Marcos hits the winner, and Owen just barely gets his hand underneath that ball and re-kills it.
Wow.
And Owen with another get.
That's a good replay.
I'm not sure I like that replay there, Dave, because Vince is 3 feet from the front wall. If he makes that shot, certainly you're not going to see that call replayed.
Well, Owen Kennedy had to jump up, just let the ball get underneath his feet.
Bad bounce on the window, replay. 12-19.
12 serves 19.
You have to wonder, Dave, what kind of reaction you'll see from the players when they make these shots after, you know, one of these slight shades or hinders.
Half out.
Man, that was
Incredible.
a major tomahawk right there from Marco Chavez.
It's almost a tennis-like swing, Dave.
12-19.
Almost like hitting a big overhead in tennis or a spike in volleyball. And you see this incredible shot. Here's a 3-ball shot. Marcos will take that out of the air. Owen goes to the Irish whip, and Vince has seen that Irish whip before during his 25-year pro career. He knows just what to do with that setup down the middle.
Vince Munoz is a lot like Julio Franco. He says he's 40, but his birth certificate really shows that he's 57 years old. We don't really know the real age of Vince Munoz.
He looks good for any age, though. Here's a big setup for Marcos. Should put this away.
Point.
And he does. Very casually there, Dave. Just feathering that ball.
20. Game point, serves 12.
You heard the call from the referee. This is game point.
Nice action up there in the front court, Dave. We'll have a towel timeout here. Sgusoh Keegan and Owen Kenny will be serving at 12:20. First server. Certainly you feel like they'll need to score 9 points in this inning.
Here's the replay.
Very difficult to take Marcos and Vince out
12-20
without scoring.
It's really fun watching Marcos and Vince play.
Amazing get there from Sgusoh, not only making the get, but re-killing that ball from his knees. You'll see a great look at it here. Amazing dexterity from the big man there. That's 2 points in a row. Dave Marcos has dove in and just been unable to make the get.
That's a view of the founder, inventor, and owner of Simple Green, Bruce Fabrizio, sitting in the front row. Bruce Fabrizio was Dick Butkus's replacement in the NFL after Dick retired as a linebacker. He also was one of the inventors of the product.
13-20.
13 serves 20. This is game one of the men's pro doubles finals. You're watching the sport of handball.
Point.
And there's a point there, 14-20 now.
This is an opening now.
14-20.
Still the first server.
Point.
There's an ace serve, deep crack serve to the right side from Sgusoh Keegan. Ace.
15-20.
Like it.
Point.
Now
you see Owen
16-20.
pumping himself and his partner up here. Smart timeout here. 4 consecutive points here for the Irish. Let's go down courtside with Fred. Fred has some opinions here for us.
Well, it looked like Chavez and Munoz were about to close this first game out. Then they kind of got away from their game plan that was working. Marcos missed, that one shot where he tried to dump it in. He's tried to dump a couple in the last few rallies and has been unsuccessful at it. And so I like to see him going back to the power, waiting for the good shot, setting up, and then, finishing it off. Sgusoh, meanwhile, has been spectacular the last 3 or 4 points with the soft hands. Had that one ace, and that's what they needed, 3 or 4 easy points to get back in the match. So we'll see how the back team regroups and whether the front team can keep the pressure on.
Fred, have you seen a comeback this big? A team coming from 12-20 and ended up taking that first game.
Oh yeah, many times. Especially now they've got 2 serves. They've got the momentum. If they can keep the pressure on, and by pressure meaning Sgusoh's got to hit a good serve. He can't power the ball and give Marcos or Vince a back well setup. We'll see what he does here.
And that's exactly what he did there, Fred. A huge back well setup, Davis. We'll thank Fred for that analysis. It's now the second server for the Irish, the Monument coming in to serve. We saw the Monument's dad filming there from the top row. I'm not sure he knows that this will be available on DVD. He can just save himself the hassle and pick it up at the handballstore.com.
There's a second server, and there's a point right there. Now it's 17-20.
You know that all the pressure right now is on Vince and Marcos. They had the big lead. And it's now Sgusoh and Owen with all the momentum. Sgusoh, not a good shot there. Owen able to finish it off with a very smooth left. Dave, it was Vince and Marcos scoring 8 consecutive points. There's no reason Sgusoh and Owen can't score 9 consecutive points.
Well,
These teams are very evenly matched.
They've scored 6. And I'll tell you, Vince Munoz has been fairly quiet
Side out.
And a nice drive there from Marcos. I'm surprised Owen didn't take that ball into the back wall. That ball was so far behind him. I thought we'd see him flip that ball into the back wall, Dave, like we see a lot of players do to make those great gets. That hits Vince in the shorts.
20-18.
Here's another attempt to win. Game number 1.
I think that ball might have slid on the left side wall. Still a first serve for Vince.
Here's another attempt.
This one's in play.
Contact, replay.
Oh.
20-18.
Here's another attempt to win the first game. Look at that shot right there from Owen Kennedy.
This is about as close as it can get here, Dave. It's 20-18. We've got the second server for Team Chavez and Vince. Amazing left corner kill there from Marcos Chavez to close out a first game that, Dave, seemed like it would end pretty routinely. And a furious late rally there from the Irish. And Marcos and Vince able to close that game out 21-18.
That was game number 1. Los Caballeros Sports Village, Fountain Valley, California. This is the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball, honoring the greatest player of our time, Nati Alvarado Sr., the Nati Alvarado Classic into its 19th year. Let's go out to the grandstands where Fred Lewis is courtside. Freddie?
Well, we can get a good camera angle here. I've got Bruce Fabrizio, president, founder of Simple Green. Bruce, congratulations on another great tournament. How do you compare this one with some of the great ones that you've had in the past?
Well, you know, we've been around this junior thing for 20 years and seen a lot of tournaments at a lot of different levels, a lot of different places, but I don't think I've ever seen the combination of juniors, women, and men. All the level of play is excellent and continuing to rise as I'm seeing here today.
Well, you know, you were a pro athlete in your day. How do you compare athletes in other sports with the athletes that are playing handball today?
Well, I think you see that same thing. You know, the NFL's having to work on legislating hard hit and the safety of the game because everybody's getting bigger, faster, stronger, more agile. I don't know if it's just the water or whether it's the vitamins or the training, the gear, but everybody seems to be faster, larger, and more agile. The gal that played here this morning was just something phenomenal, and she's only like 22 years old and looks like she's been playing for 25 years.
Let's talk about something else that's near and dear to your heart, your Egg Bar Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's all about?
Yeah, we started 20 years ago doing environmental education and taking 1% of our gross sales and putting it into an educational program for public schools around the country and doing also disaster relief cleanup. And we were down in a Gulf this year for a month and we gave away about 70,000 gallon bottles with 4 of our guys throughout the Gulf region. And also we have a golf tournament where we take the proceeds and actually donate it to the participants' schools of their choice. Last year we gave out $40,000 to 40 different school programs around the country that are in real need of capital any way they can get it.
Well, Bruce, you know, you've been a great benefactor of handball, also, you know, a true professional and leader in environmental education and helping the environment, and we congratulate you and thanks again for being so good to handball.
Our pleasure to be here, and we'll look forward to many years to come.